Hello and welcome to the spring of 2014 semester of World Religions here at Lincoln Land Community College. My name is Timothy McKenzie and I'll be your instructor this semester. I hope that we have a good semester and I want to just sort of give a brief introduction. I will try to give a little video with every module that we do, but essentially some I might, some I might not, but for the most part I would like to have a little video. It's just a different way to present the information, as well as the fact that I'll try to intersperse a few videos here and there throughout, perhaps of me talking about some of the issues, but that's a little bit yet to be developed. Now, one of the first things I want to talk about is the fact that I mentioned module, and that's sort of a key concept. If you've taken an online course here at Lincoln Land or anywhere else before, you're probably familiar with the concept of a module. A module is the idea that that we have a certain chapter or chunk of information and we put it all together into one, what we call a module. And these modules are, in this case, in this class, they're 2 weeks in length each, and every one of them ends at 8 p.m. on a Monday evening. The reason they're at 8 p.m. is because I will have my office hours in that last hour in case there would happen to be a problem that we could take care of it. And so, you're welcome to work early on those. You have 2 weeks to complete the work. If you finish it the first day, that's fine. I mean, that's really your prerogative. But that's sort of the way they're broken down. I, at this time, have one module open, and we'll try to always keep at least one module ahead is sort of always my goal. My idea being that, if you have a trip or you're doing something, or, you're expecting a baby or something, you might want to work ahead. But if those things come along and you're going to miss a long period, then you need to reconsider the decision to take the class. But for the most part, I do understand that, some part of the reason some of you are taking this is you do expect some change in your life or medical issue or something else that perhaps will prevent you from being able to attend a class. Now, with that said, I oftentimes always get the question, what do I have to do? I've not taken an online class before. What do I have to do to succeed? Well, to begin with, it's probably the same thing as you have to have for any class. You have to be ready for the material, you have to work, etc. But an online class presents itself its own difficulty. The difficulty it presents is that with an in the classroom class, I am there every day, and I remind you of the things that need to be done. Oftentimes, I won't remind you. I will, with the beginning of each module, give you a checklist of all the things you need to do in that specific module. But sometimes, there might be a few things I might not mention, and you kind of have to keep an eye on. You might have to, review the syllabus. You can't just ask me how things are done. And so that's a negative, as well as the fact that if you get a little confused on something or have a quick question, you can't just ask me. Instead, you have to be somewhat self-motivated and actually go out there and ask yourself. Say, send me an email, talk to a classmate, and those are the kinds of things you'll have to do. So one of the things I always try to remind people is, if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. The only thing I ever get really annoyed about with questions is when people ask the same question over and over without any regard to the fact that, without bothering to look back at the syllabus or something. But if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. Just don't rely upon, try to be a little bit self-motivated to try to look up the answer, but don't be afraid to ask me. As far as contacting me, if you email me, I usually try to respond to those within 24 hours. Sometimes it can be as much as 48 hours, depending upon the time of the day and what I'm doing with my schedule. And sometimes the more complex or the more work that's going to go into having to answer the question will lengthen the time it takes. If I have to look up 4 or 5 things, I'm less likely to respond right away because I may be just trying to triage my work, and something that's going to take me a long time might get kind of put to the back burner. If you do not get a response from me within 48 hours from an email or a message, please email me again and say, I never got a response. Sometimes what happens is I read the message, and for some reason I think I wrote back and I didn't. And sometimes, especially if there's something I have to think about or something I need to look up. And so if you have not heard back from me within 48 hours, send me an email and just politely say, I never heard anything back from you, and I will apologize because that is my fault. And I wouldn't say it happens with any regularity, but it does happen on occasion. Now, as a final note, and it's something sort of unique to this semester, originally this course was going to be taught by another man named Marty Morris, who's been teaching here at Lincoln Land for around 30 years or so. And Marty developed this online class, and he's developed quite a few classes, but due to some issues, he's unable. He had to take the semester off, and so I was asked to take over it, kind of at the last minute. And it was actually right before Christmas I was asked, and towards the end of the fall semester, and I have done a little bit of revision. Some things I will revise more, and some things will be more the way he had them. So please sort of just keep in mind that, some videos might have this other guy in them, and I might tell you ahead of time, and sometimes the videos might just be him. Some of the writing might be his, some of the references and some of the ideas. I have begun to tweak and change things, but that is something to at least be aware of, that as I've been trying to keep up and not wanting to, change too much that might cause delays in getting the material ready. I have tried to keep the stuff somewhat orderly, and so some of the stuff is from him, is basically what I'm trying to say. So just sort of as you do that, please keep in mind that occasionally you might have a few other things that come from the fact that this was originally, some of the material was designed by him instead of myself, and that's part of just sort of the adaptation of this semester. On a final note, you will note that there are basically, each module has 3 basic components. The first component is an exam, and the exam comes at the end of you do the material, read, watch videos, etc. online, and you read the textbook, and then you take the exam. The exams may vary, but at least for the first couple, it will be where you can save the exam and come back. So if you can kind of work through the exam and look up answers and kind of work it that way. Later on, depending upon how I feel about that, I may end up changing that to a timed format. But at this point, I am giving you sort of an open-ended. The only difference is once you submit the exam, that's it, you're done. You can't submit it and then say, oh, I made a mistake. If you submit it, it's done, because you will have access to your score and other things, and it would be unfair for me to give you another opportunity with it. On another matter, the other things that will be part of it is there will be a requirement to read religious news. There's a couple on the side of your page. On the left-hand side, you will see something such as Religious News Service, RNS, Religious News Service, and you'll see Worldwide Religious News. Those links will take you to sites that give basically news of the world, news from the real world of religion, whether it be Hinduism, Christianity, could be, pastor gets arrested. I mean, it can be a variety of things. And so those videos will be, or not those videos, but that information will be there. Your job is every module, every 2-week period, is to find an article in there that you find interesting and to give a little bit of a write-up on it and post it to a discussion board. What did you find interesting? What did you like? Why did you like it? What stood out? Why did you pick that particular news article? And then after you've done that, you'll look at what other people have chosen, read through that, maybe read the original thing, and then react to what they said. Say, I gotta disagree, or I agree, or I like what you said, that is an interesting article. And you have to do that at least twice. And so that's the way the discussion board will work. And then the final aspect that will be part of everyone is a religious journal. And when I say religious journal, it's really just a chance for you to look and say, what did you learn? what was interesting from this unit, from this module, and basically to give your reaction. How did it, would you consider yourself joining that religion? Why? Why not? What did you like? What did you not like? What did you learn? What's different about it? Things like that. And that's predominantly a personal response. I want you to spend about an hour reflecting on your learning and do a journal entry. So those will be the three main aspects of each module as we go through the religions. And then there will be a final exam, and there will be a term paper. And those will be all the main components of the course. If you have any questions, once again, don't be afraid to email me. But I don't think we'll probably have too many big issues, and I wish you all the best of luck this semester. Thank you.